Hello everyone, it's Karen and welcome to another video. Now, I don't normally make videos this time of night because it is quite dark the way it will, but I have got like the lights on in here but I'm shooting this at night, which I don't usually do. I usually shoot during the day, but I'm shooting at night, but there have been instances where I've done that in the past. But today's video is a video that I was not expecting to make, and one that I didn't think I was going to make, but given that people who follow my channel and see a lot of my content know that I'm into this kind of group and this category of music, I kind of felt like it was something I had to do. But of course this week we got the sad news regarding the passing of Denny Laine, the musician in Paul McCartney and Wings. And anybody that watches my channel knows that I'm a big Paul McCartney fan, and I really like the stuff with Wings, so this kind of was a video that I think, you know, was going to need to be done anyway. So yeah, we heard about Denny Laine's passing on Tuesday night. Saw it on social media. I'd known for a while, and we'd all known for a while, that Denny's health had not been great. He was having various like health problems, including lung disease, but we were hopeful that he was probably going to make it and get better, but obviously that wasn't to be. And it was sad to hear that he passed away, but at 79, which, you know, good age, you know, 79. He lived for as long as he did. So I wanted to talk about Denny Laine and his kind of contribution to popular music and his life career in a way. But there is a good video where this guy kind of explains about Paul McCartney and Denny Laine. It's in the link below by James Griffths. If you want to see that, then do check it out. So I first became aware of Denny Laine about 10 years ago in 2013 when I got the Wings Over America album on CD, and this is the very copy I got, and this is the archive version, and so that's how I kind of knew Wings, because I was just kind of getting into the Beatles at the time, and I was just kind of checking out the reading into the Paul McCartney solo career as well, and of course with Wings as well. So I got this CD at the That's Entertainment shop in Glasgow in 2013, so that'll be 10 years ago now. So to talk about Denny Laine. So Denny Laine was born in Birmingham. His real name was Brian Hines. He was born in Birmingham in 1944. He had his own group in like the 60s called Denny and the Seniors, who later opened or supported the Beatles at a concert in the Old Hill Plaza in Birmingham in 1963. But then when Denny Laine joined the Moody Blues in 1964 and had a hit single called Go Now, and the Moody Blues and the Beatles' past would kind of track at various times in the 60s, and that's how Paul and Denny kind of knew each other. But Denny was never really, I don't think was ever that happy in the satisfied with the Moody Blues, and so he left the band in 1966, a year or two later. So in 1971 though, he got the call from Paul McCartney, because Paul McCartney was starting a new band with his wife Linda at this point, because the Beatles had broken up at this point. And Denny was working on a solo album at the time when he got a call from Paul to say, would you like to join? So he asked Denny if he was doing much, and Denny said no, and I think Paul asked Denny if he would join his band, who were called Wings. And then in 1971 they recorded and released this album called Wildlife, which was their first album. They weren't called Paul McCartney and Wings by this point, they were just called Wings when they started. This album kind of got lukewarm reviews at the time, but the Wings started tour, did an impromptu tour around universities in the UK, and they kind of got known, and then they did a little small European tour, and they then released a few singles, and then released the band were then renamed Paul McCartney and Wings after the release of Red Rose Speedway. And then with the release of 1973's album Band on the Run, they were renamed Paul McCartney and Wings, and they became very successful. And this was like their breakthrough album, which had just turned 50, which was a bit of a ironic thing that this happened. But then Band on the Run, with Band on the Run, Paul McCartney and Wings became stars. They had hits like Live and Let Die. They had a hit which was used in the James Bond film of the same name. And they had a very successful tour of the UK with Red Rose Speedway, and then this album came out, and then this was their breakthrough album. It got great reviews and got favourable reviews from music critics, and got great reviews, and yeah, it was really a big album. And I think Denny Laine sings a couple songs on this one. He sings No Words and Picasso's Last Words, which are a great version on the Rock Show Blu-ray is on, which I just watched before I was making this video, and it's a great concert, great film, and great one to watch. Yeah, and that's how I knew this one. So yeah, I haven't heard all the Wings studio albums. I kind of know the popular songs, but I need to hear the albums as a whole. But I'll definitely do that at some point. Then Venus and Mars came in 1975, which is like their big album. Another big album of theirs. Rock Show and Magneto and Titanium Man were hits, as was Listen to What the Man Said, Medicine Jar and Spirits of Ancient Egypt, which were, and You Gave Me the Answer as well, which were performed at the on the Wings of the World tour in 1975. So yeah, this was definitely another successful album, and was Denny. I think Denny might have. Denny did sing on Spirits of Ancient Egypt because it's on the Rock Show film, so it was on that. And then they went on a big world tour in 1975 into 76. I went through Europe, UK and America for a big tour. And then this album came out, Wings at the Speed of Sound, in 1976. This one I have heard and I can comment on. Denny gets a few vocal moments with The Note You Never Wrote and Time to Hide. As well as Paul supplying the hits like Let 'Em In and Silly Love Songs. So yeah, a good album. But they had a couple of other guys in the band, Jimmy McCulloch on guitar and Joe English on drums. Henry McCulloch had been with them. He wasn't of any relation, and there was Denny Sidewell. They both had left, and Jimmy and Joe sort of took their place. So yeah, and then of course, when the tour hit America, they made this live album, which I just showed the CD of, and the film. And this is the live album. In fact, my dad had this live album on vinyl as well. My dad said he really liked this live album. So yeah, a great live album. Denny sang Go Now, which he does a great version of on this, on the Wings Over America and the Rock Show Blu-ray, which are both great. Denny did Picasso, and he did a good version of Rich Corey as well, which was originally a Simon and Garfunkel song. So Denny did a great version of it. And Denny played a lot of instruments. He did guitar, harmonica. He even played the bass as well and the piano, because you could get to see it on the Rock Show film that I've just seen, and it's a really great watch. In between this, and then of course Paul and Denny co-wrote the hit single Mull of Kintyre, which I forgot to bring down, but which I probably should have brought down, but I do have that single. But it does appear on the Wings Greatest LP in 1978. So, and that's a great song. That's probably one of Paul McCartney's best songs, which he co-wrote with Denny Laine. And then on London Town in 1978, Denny wrote I've Had Enough, Children, and Deliver Your Children. So yeah, kind of a children's theme to it with these songs, and yeah, I don't really know much about this album. I need to listen to this one. And on the last album, Back to the Egg, he contributed with, but in between, I think London Town and Back to the Egg, Jimmy McCulloch and Joe English had left the band. Joe English got a bit homesick during this period and moved back to America, and Jimmy left and later sadly died from a drugs overdose. But then taking their place was Lawrence Juber and Steve Hawley. And on the album Back to the Egg, Denny contributes to Again and Again and Again, which is a song I've heard bits of in a video, which is a good good song. The bits I have heard on into the album full. But that was 1979. And then Wings had done a UK tour in 1979. And then Wings later kind of fell apart in the 80s, because what happened was in the January of 1980 they were supposed to be doing a tour of Japan, but however when they got into the country, Paul was arrested for possession of marijuana in his luggage, and Paul got 10 days in jail, and the tour was then cancelled, and all of Wings went back to England, and Paul later rejoined them. And Paul had done work early that summer on the McCartney 2 album, which he later released that year. And Denny was reportedly annoyed with Paul regarding this, because Denny wanted to continue the touring. Now, the reason behind this was because Denny wasn't really getting as much in the songwriting royalties that he wanted, so the money that Denny was earning came from like the live tours and performing live. And so when it was apparent that the Japan tour was going to be cancelled, And because of John Lennon's death later on in the year 1980, which was 43 years ago today, in fact, Paul wasn't really going to tour for a while, so Denny could see what way the things were going, and he just felt it's maybe time for me to just leave and move on. So he did actually, before that, Denny did contribute to Tug of War a bit, and I think he participated in Pipes of Peace as well a bit. And he also helped on if I can get it out, on the song All Those Years Ago by George Harrison, which Paul McCartney and Linda also helped out on. But relations between the two really kind of fell apart, and it didn't really end very well at first. It kind of ended with Paul at the studio one day and Denny wasn't there, and Paul was trying to contact him to get a hold of him. And the story apparently goes that it was Denny's wife at the time, Jojo, that basically said to Paul that Denny's left the band and doesn't really want anything to do with you. So after that, Denny did a solo career in the kind of 70s and 80s as well, but he never really found success as a solo artist. Despite the success with the Moody Blues and Wings, he never really found success as a solo artist, and I think he ended up filing for bankruptcy in the 70s and in the 80s, but he still kept performing live and solo shows. And I know a few people of other videos I've watched saying they've got to meet Denny and got to see him, which I unfortunately didn't get to do, but I'm sure that would have been a great thing for me to have happened if I got to meet Denny. It would have been great. But with regards to Paul and Denny, they didn't speak to each other for a long time, but I think Denny went to see one of Paul's shows on the Flowers in the Dirt tour, but he didn't get to meet them. And then eventually, years later, there's a good photograph of them. Many years later, they happened to see each other at a UB40 show now, and I think I could get the picture for you, where I think Denny's kind of leaning on Paul's shoulder, and that was in 2007. I've just found the picture, and here it is. I've just got on my phone here. That's the picture there. It's quite a nice picture of the two of them. I know Paul's recently said that him and Denny kind of drifted, but then they got back in contact in recent years, which I suppose was nice to see that Paul and Denny did sort of get back together, and sort of not get back together, but kind of talk and make up again in later years, which was good to see. But you know, it's we're living in an era where we're losing a lot of great people in music, which this year I can name of two people that I've quite liked in music that we've lost, and they were Gordon Lightfoot and Jimmy Buffett. And now Denny Laine's the third one to pass away, that the people I like this year. It's, you know, we're living in an era where we're losing a lot of good people and we're losing a lot of good musicians, and the most kind of ironic, and particularly at this time of year when it's the holiday season, and it's often quite tough, and it's not, then 2023 has been a bit of a downer of a year in music, I would say, you know. As well as there not being much new material, there's also been a few good people we've lost in music, you know. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say, but that's kind of it for the video. Denny Laine's contributions to pop music, I'm sure, will live on, whether it's with the Moody Blues or Paul McCartney Wings. Denny Laine will be remembered in some way, shape or form. And you know, it's kind of, that's nearly all the original members of Wings gone. I think Joe English is still alive. Paul and Joe English are still alive, as are Lawrence Juber and Steve Hawley. But Linda passed away in 1998, Jimmy McCulloch in 1979, and now Denny. So that's kind of Paul, Joe, Lawrence and Steve in terms of the lineup of Wings still alive. So it's a shame, but as the Del Shannon song goes, the music plays on, and indeed it will live on. Long, I'm sure, after I'm gone and when I'm old, the music will still live on as well, you know. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked seeing this video, even though it's a bit of a downer. It was just kind of a video I wanted to do and kind of get on the bandwagon for. Hope it's kind of do an up video, maybe another careers review, because I'm still working on that series at the moment. I would like to do more of those career reviews. Definitely maybe do Bruce Springsteen or Tom Petty are the two I'm kind of looking into, as well as maybe Adios Speedwagon and other people too. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. The next one should be a bit more of an up video. I'm thinking of doing Elvis Presley's Christmas album review because Christmas is near and I kind of want to do that video to kind of, yeah, to do that video because it'll be near Christmas time. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.